Hey, how's it going? I'm Parteek, and in today's video, I want to walk you through building your very first AI agent. Now, last time we spoke, I introduced the idea of AI agents at a high level, but today I want to help you put that theory into practice with a simple example. So let's go ahead and get started. So this will be a really simple example. We're just going to take a GitHub issue, and our agent is going to add a label and then add a comment to that issue. So pretty simple stuff, but hopefully it'll get you learning more about agents and thinking about how to actually implement them. Now, if you're new to Agentuity and don't have an account or don't have the CLI installed yet, you can follow the Getting Started guide on our docs at agentuity.dev and sign up and log into your account. So once you do that, when we go into the terminal, we'll just create a new project, and that'll launch the CLI. Now we support a few different runtimes across Python and TypeScript, but for today's video, we'll just use one. And we support a few different templates like OpenAI, Anthropic, the Vercel AI SDK, so we give you quite a few options. For today, we'll just use OpenAI. And we'll give this project a name, and we'll give our agent a name as well, so we'll just say this is the agent responder, and it labels and comments on an issue. Now you can also authenticate your agent, but for now, we'll just go ahead and click none. And you can also set up a CI/CD pipeline, but we'll skip that for now. Great, so once you do that, we've got everything set up here. And I'm just going to navigate to our GitHub issue helper, and we'll see what this looks like once it's set up. So once we launch our project, here's what it looks like. And in general, for either a TypeScript or a Python project, things will look pretty similar. But the first thing I want to explain is this agentuity.yaml file. So this is going to have all your agent and project metadata, as well as configurations for development and deployment. So as you can see, we've got our project ID, the description and name that we just came up with when we created the project. And we've also got our agent ID, which is automatically generated. And we've got our description and all of that stuff here. Now we also have settings for development and deployment. So for example, if you wanted to change the port at which you want to run your development server, you can do that, change the files to watch. And when we're talking about actually deploying your agent, you can also tune the resources like the memory requirements if you wanted to do that. But for the most part, you might not need to deal with this YAML file. And so let's go ahead and just jump into our code. So looking at our actual agent code, you can find that under the source/agents directory. And we've got a basic OpenAI template set up here. And the first thing that I want to mention is this welcome function. So this shows up when you're in dev mode. That's a way for you to test out your agents without having to actually deploy them. So let's take a look at how that looks. So we'll just run the agentuity dev command and then follow this link. And here's our dev mode. So you can test out your agents, send input data in a couple different formats, and see what the logs say about your agent. For now, let's go ahead and just add in our actual code for this GitHub issue helper, and then we'll see how that works. Great, so now that we've set up our code, let's walk through it real quick. We've got our agent request, response, and context objects, which is how we use the Agentuity SDK to work with our agents. So that's how we'll send data, get a response, and then log or store some information that we use with our agent. Now let's jump down to the actual agent method, which is the main logic for our agent. So we're going to log the incoming GitHub URL and get that URL from the request, and then we'll parse that to get the owner, the repo, and the issue number as a string. And then we'll go ahead and actually get that data from GitHub and classify it. So give it a tag or a label, and then generate a comment for it. And then we'll log some information and actually post that comment on GitHub. And similarly, we'll just apply the label as well. And some more logging, and we have our return response as well. So let's take a closer look at some of the methods that were described here. So to start off, we've got our parse GitHub URL. So we're just going to take the incoming URL, split it up, and extract the owner, repo, and issue number, along with some validation and checking if it's actually a valid URL. But we'll just return that. And then when we actually want to fetch the issue, we'll use the GitHub API and return that issue data from GitHub. And now we come to our triage issue, which is the main method that's going to actually create a classification and a response for us. So we give our agent that system prompt and we tell it to respond with a couple of specific types of labels that we've set for it. And we're just describing how it should respond. Then we'll get that response. And for this, we'll use GPT-4o Mini just as a basic model. And when we talk about actually posting that comment and that label back to our GitHub issue, these methods will do that. So we're just going to be sending the comment back using the API, and it'll be very similar for actually sending the label back using the API. So now that we've taken a look at the code, let's go ahead and deploy our agent and actually test it out. So for that, it's really simple. We'll just do one command, agentuity deploy, and that's going to actually deploy our agent, and it'll ask us for our GitHub token as well, so you'll need that if you want to follow along. Great, so that was super simple, right? It deployed successfully, and we can actually go ahead and track our project. So once you come over to the app, you'll see that we've got a lot of great information here for you. So you can take a look at your deployments, and we just deployed right now. You can look at your session, so when you actually run your agent, you can keep track of all of that here, and we'll see that in a second. You can also check out your logs, your settings, integrations, so on and so forth. And so when we actually want to test our agent, let's go ahead and open up our agent in this agents view, and we'll see a nice visualization of everything that we can add to our agent right now. And so here's the inbound webhook that was automatically set up for us using our agent ID. So we'll just go ahead and copy the text version, and I'll replace it with an actual GitHub URL that we created. Great, so when we come back over to the terminal, we'll go ahead and send this curl command and see our agent in action. So our message was successful, and we can actually track the status of it back in the app. So if we head back over to the app, we'll see that our GitHub issue helper actually has a new session, so the session that we just ran. And we can open this up and actually get a trace of exactly what happened when our agent ran. You'll see the get and post requests that were made. So we're actually grabbing that issue data, sending it to the LLM to categorize it and add a comment, and then putting that back on our actual issue using the API. And we can also take a look at the logs as well. So it processed the incoming URL, gave it an initial analysis, and then categorized it as a bug and left a comment as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this looks like in GitHub. Great, so now we've got a label that it automatically added for us. So this was a simple example where we said we have an error when submitting a form, and it gave us the right category here. And it also left a nice comment for us. In real life or in production, you might want to have a separate GitHub account dedicated just to this triage agent. But hopefully this gives you a good idea of how you can use an agent to actually go out and perform tasks for you. So to summarize, in today's project, we looked at a simple agent that can read a GitHub issue, categorize it, and add a comment on it. So hopefully that gave you a good start into the world of AI agents and how you can actually implement them. If you want to get started, you can head over to agentuity.com and sign up to get $5 in free credits, and also take a look at some agents that we have that you can play around with and test out for yourself. I hope this video was helpful, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.